Hello learners, this is Priyadarshi Shubhakant and I welcome all of you to my sessions on safety. So guys, today is the first session regarding on safety, and here what we are going to learn today is shown on the slide. So what we are going to learn today, first of all, we'll be studying today regarding what is safety. Then next we'll be knowing what is the difference between hazard and risk, and also we'll know what are the different types of hazards. So these are the discussions of today's session. Please pay your full attention to this session. So starting with the lessons now. First, the definition of safety. As you can see in the slide, it is mentioned over here. Safety means keeping yourself and others free from harm or injury is known as safety. So this is the definition. That means what? Keeping yourself and others free from injury and harm is known as safety. Then next, other different statement here you can get it, that is safety means keeping yourself and others free from accident and injuries. Similarly also, if you are keeping yourself and others free from accidents and injuries, that is also known as safety. And this was the second definition of safety. Now moving on to the next one. The next definition of safety also we can say like also refer to the control of recognized hazards in order to achieve an acceptable level of risk. So risks are there, but it should be acceptable level. Up to that the risk should be there. So guys, these were the definitions. Now from the last definition of safety what I gave you, you will be thinking now what are hazards and what is risk. So we'll be discussing now regarding that one. So before that, let me tell you that what is OHSAS 18001. You might have seen such kind of logos or this particular symbol you might have seen. Let me tell you what is it in actual. Now it is Occupational Health and Safety Assessment Series. So in this what happens, now this particular certification is given to an organization who follows the safety rules very strictly. Okay, and here this certification is given by the ISO, that is International Organization for Standardization. And as per this, the definition of, as per ISO, I mean the definition of hazard is what? Now is something that can cause harm. The next, let us know what is the definition of risk. So here what happens, now is the exposure towards hazards. Risk is what? Now the exposure towards the hazard is a risk. We know something is hazard, like here in the diagram you can see over here that two gears are moving on, and knowingly if you are putting our finger inside that one, that means we are taking the risk. That means exposing ourselves towards the hazard is known as a risk. Then moving on to the other slide, as you can see over here, there is a comparison in between hazard and risk. So very beautiful examples are given. The first one you can see over here, like driving on a road. Definitely driving leads to a lot of accidents if you are not careful, and here that's why driving is one of the hazard also. But when you are driving in a blizzard, means snowfall is there, you cannot see the roads in front of you very clearly, so there is a huge chance that accident may occur. So unnecessarily that is one risk we are taking while driving in a blizzard. The next, saving our face. Whenever we are saving our face, at that time it's a hazard, because if you are not careful we may cut our cheeks. But here what happens, now risk is what? Saving a beer. Don't try this, never go and save a beer, don't do this one. But here just for an example I am telling you, when you want to save a beer, definitely the beer is not going to allow you, and neither you can do it, because before that the beer will attack on you. So that is a risk. Saving is a hazard, and whereas saving a beer is a risk. For example, I have given this one. Then the other example you can see, another very beautiful example is there, hair dryer. Generally we are using that one, and we know that to dry our wet hairs we use that one, and using that one is also hazard. Why? An electric shock we may get it from the particular hair dryer. And risk is when, now when we are using the particular hair dryer inside a bathtub full of water, then definitely it increases the risk. So hope so I had made you clear regarding those examples what I gave, like what is hazard and what is risk. So exposure to the hazard is known as risk, and anything that can cause harm to us is known as hazards. So guys, moving on to the next one, the very best thing we can know about hazard is that what are the different types of hazard. Let us now know what are the different types of hazards. So first one, starting with the first is mechanical hazards, then next we'll be getting occupational, then ergonomics, then electrical, then we'll be getting it chemical, then we'll be getting organizational. So these are the different types of hazards. So now let us elaborately discuss what are the different types of hazards in this category. So starting with the mechanical hazards. So first one, here you can see it's a shear hazard. As you can see on the slide, it is there, that is a shear hazard. Then next is crush hazard. Then next is your impact hazard. Then next is your drawing in and crush hazard. Then next one is your entanglement hazard. Then next one is your high pressure fluid hazard. So these are some of the examples of mechanical hazards. Then next, moving on to the other slides, like here we can see the electrical hazard examples. Let us start with that one. The first one, improper grounding. Then the next one, that is damaged insulation. Then the next one, wet conditions. And the next one, overloaded circuit. So these are the few examples of electrical hazards. Then next, moving on to the chemical hazards, like in one diagram you can see everything I have mentioned over here, and the examples are flammable, corrosive, oxidizing, explosives, compressed gas, harmful irritants, dangerous for the environment, health hazard, and toxic. So these are the few examples of chemical hazards. Moving on to the next one, ergonomics hazards. As you can see, a very beautiful example is given, improper adjusted workstation and chair. As you can see in the slide, it's already mentioned. So here what happens now, in a long run, if our body posture is not comfortable while working, then what happens now, we may face some back ache or back pain problems, which is also one kind of hazards in a long run of working. So always please sit properly, or the workstation where you are working, please maintain as per your height, please adjust the workstations properly. Then the next, ergonomical hazards, using too much force, frequent lifting from ground level to the upstairs or something like that type of things if you are doing it. Then vibration, continuous vibration is there where you are working. So these are few examples of ergonomical hazards. Then next, moving on to the occupational hazard. As you can see, noise is there. So noise means what happens in the environment. Occupational means where you are working, that particular area, continuous noise is there. So it will just give you very hard impact on your ears. So you cannot withstand that one. So noise is also one kind of occupational hazard. Similar way, fumes, similar way, dust, similar way, radiations. These are the few examples of occupational hazards, means it's related to your occupation. Next, other thing is that organizational hazards. So now in organizational hazards, what are the things? As you can see, the first example is mentioned over here, that is shift work. So what shift work it does generally? Now in shift works, mostly what happens, now we face lot of tiredness, and what it causes, now continuously if you are working for 2 to 3 shifts, then we are tired and we lose our concentration, and in between that, if you are committing any mistake, then the accident occurs. So that is one organizational hazard. The next one, workload, continuous more workload is given to you. So you will be in a hurry to complete the work, and while you are hurry, at that particular time, you may commit some mistake which will lead to the accident, and it is also one kind of organizational hazard. And next, the other one we can say lack of safety culture. The company, the organization where you are working, they are not following the safety rules properly. They are not using the PPE, personal protective equipments. We'll make in the next video sessions, we'll be discussing regarding this PPE, personal protective equipment. So the companies where the safety culture is lacking, so there is a chance that we may get easily prone towards the accident. So these are some of the examples of organizational hazards. And guys, that was all from today's session. What we learned today, once again telling you, what is safety, we discussed that one. what is hazard and risk we discussed also, then types of hazards also we discussed regarding that one. And in upcoming sessions, in our other videos, we'll be discussing, or the next video will be regarding the class of fires and the different types of fires. So please stay tuned to our classes on CNC milling machine. This was the first session on safety. The second session on safety will be very soon. So please wait and watch for the other session. Thank you guys. Have a good day.